Hello and a very warm welcome to Science Monitor, your weekly update on what's happening in the field of science, technology, research and innovation in and around the country. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you. From soon to be organized WebHub Summit to India's protein-based vaccine candidate being developed by National Institute of Immunology, we have lots in store for you. So let us begin with the headlines. Global Summit of Overseas and Resident Indian Scientists and Academicians to be inaugurated by the Prime Minister on 2nd of October. WebHub to widen the horizon of Indian academics and research. India's first CRISPR-based COVID-19 diagnostic test approved by DCGI, developed by CSIR, IGIB and Tata Group. The test will detect the genome of SARS-CoV-2 rapidly. Protein-based vaccine candidate for COVID-19 being developed in India. National Institute of Immunology gets encouraging results in immunogenicity trials on mice. And we will take you on a science tour of a Hanle-based Himalayan Chandra telescope, which has completed remarkable 20 years in operation. And now the news in detail. To provide momentum to the new education policy and Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, Government of India is embarking on a new science and technology initiative in the form of a Vaishvik Bharatiya Vaigyanik Summit or WebHub. This global summit will bring scientists and academicians of Indian origin working across the globe on one platform so that Indian researchers and students can benefit from their knowledge and expertise. The first of its kind virtual summit will be inaugurated on 2nd of October by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and will run for nearly a month. Let's have a look at the report to know more about this initiative.
Since ancient times, India stands the living testimony of being the epitome of knowledge and education. Indian scholars and centers of learning were known to enlighten the world with their extensive and in-depth knowledge. Today, Indian diaspora is making outstanding contributions in the arena of global academics and research. Currently, more than 6,000 academics of Indian origin are part of the world's best 500 educational institutions, of which over 1,000 are associated with the leading research and development institutes. To make use of their knowledge and expertise in the Indian context and to promote active collaboration among them and their Indian counterparts, the science and technology and academic organizations of India are launching a collaborative initiative called Vaishvik Bharatiya Vaigyanik Summit or WebHub. This virtual summit will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on 2nd October. The Grand Summit will run from 3rd October to 30th October and will bring together overseas and resident Indian scientists and academicians on one platform to create an ecosystem of knowledge and innovation in the country, which will help in addressing the emerging challenges.
WebHub, for example, to begin with, has identified more than a dozen verticals. For example, quantum technologies, for example, artificial intelligence, clean energy, and so on. So on these verticals, more than 300 scientists from abroad and India that work on it, which are at the cutting edge. They get together, they do brainstorming, they figure out what are the real challenges in that particular area, and then how to collaborate together to solve these problems. So it gives very unprecedented opportunity for the global scientist and our scientists to connect and work together with, again, a shared vision and a purpose.
The The Vaibhav Summit 2020 will have panel discussions on 18 verticals spread over 80 horizontals, leading to more than 200 sessions. It will see participation of 200 academic and R&D institutes of India, along with 1,500 panelists from across the world. The verticals will range from agroeconomy to quantum technologies, and each vertical will have champion institutes of India taking an active part in the deliberations. The objective of this program is to create a roadmap to leverage the knowledge of global Indian researchers, subject experts and academics for education, research, innovation, entrepreneurship and sustainable development in India, which will open a new dimension in the development of Indian education system.
More than 100 years, our scientists have been going abroad to learn new techniques, to learn new knowledge and so on. Today, we have the infrastructure and confidence to bring the best of global science and scientists here. So every time one scientist goes out, there is only one beneficiary. But every time one scientist comes in from outside, there would be hundreds of beneficiaries from students to everybody. And this kind of sustained sustained working together would bring a huge value to Indian science.
Academicians and researchers from the community of Indian diaspora have, on one hand, a global experience and, on the other, an emotional connect with their roots. They can play a pivotal role in making the nation self-reliant by collaborating with the resident talents. Active collaboration among them can accelerate India's quest to excel in critical areas of all disciplines.
National Institute of Immunology, an autonomous institute working under the Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, is developing a protein-based vaccine candidate against COVID-19. The institute has got encouraging results in study trials on mice and will soon test the vaccine on primates. According to the institute, if this vaccine candidate clears all phases of trials, then India will surely have a low-cost vaccine to safeguard the masses. Let's have a look at the report.
Although the recovery rate of COVID-19 is quite reassuring, yet the infection is far from over. Therefore, many efforts are being made across the world to develop a successful vaccine against the infection. Some of the vaccine candidates, including the Indian ones, are entering the last phase of clinical trials. But most of these vaccines, including the indigenous ones, are based on inactivated virus and nucleic acids. However, Delhi-based National Institute of Immunology, an autonomous institute under the Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, is working on a different path to develop a protein-based vaccine against the infection. This vaccine candidate is being developed to inhibit the spike protein of SARS-CoV-2 to inactivate the virus.
The whole world is either doing a DNA vaccine or a RNA vaccine or a whole cell vaccine or a viral vector vaccine. So we thought of doing something different, and in that concept we thought we will do a protein-based vaccine, a protein which is part of the virus, and many people are expressing this protein worldwide in yeast, in baculovirus, in mammalian cell. We had a strength of making this protein in E. coli, because E. coli is one of the cheapest way of making. We thought, let's try with expressing this protein. So this is a protein produced in E. coli, a part of spike protein, and we immunize with our patented nanoparticle system, and that's what we are. We are just in a very early stage of evaluating the immunogenicity of the vaccine in mice model in our institute only.
National Institute of Immunology started working on this vaccine during the lockdown period. After identifying the protein candidate, researchers at the institute conducted immunogenicity study trials on mice and got encouraging results. The vaccine candidate not only stimulated an immune response but also produced antibodies effective enough to neutralize the virus. The institute is now conducting large-scale tests on mice, and based on the result, it will seek permission to conduct the trial on monkeys. Outcome of these trials will determine the future action.
For last 42 days, we have been chasing the mice and breeding and analyzing. This is showing good immunogenicity, and preliminary stage, it's neutralizing. It's neutralizing the virus. So we are very preliminary experiment done, but we are very excited. But because we could make it here, and now we are repeating the experiment to prove that indeed this vaccine is not only immunogenic but neutralizing titer. If you succeed in that, we will do a detailed neutralizing titer assay, looking at the cell response, looking at memory response, and probably will go to monkey study in our own facility to evaluate whether this vaccine is indeed working or not.
The research is supported by Department of Biotechnology. The institute has state-of-the-art facilities to pursue research in immunology and aims to serve the nation by developing a cheaper vaccine which can be made available to the masses. According to the researchers, the candidate may enter clinical trials in the next 2 to 3 months after crossing the initial stages successfully. Having an indigenous protein-based vaccine will strengthen India's COVID response, as such vaccines generally have better track record in safety and efficacy.
Now it's time for a short break, but do not go anywhere. We'll be back soon with more reports.
The Qutub complex in Mehrauli is not just a place that houses the eponymous Minar, but also a landmark that represents once ruler's desire to build an even taller structure that could have overshadowed even the Qutub Minar. Alauddin Khilji, who called himself Sikandar-e-Sani or the Second Alexander, had commissioned the construction of Alai Minar. Though the work had begun on the structure opposite Qutub, due to death of Khilji, the construction was abandoned, never to be taken up by any other ruler. Even in its incomplete state, the magnitude of Alai Minar is awe-inspiring. It stands a lot wider at the base than Qutub Minar, and though just one story exists, it stands 80 feet, one-third the size of older counterpart. Probably the only unfinished monument in Delhi is a marvel to behold, for nothing induces more wonder than a strong first step with an illusion of how great things could have been.
Welcome back. After the break, you're watching Science Monitor. India will soon have a rapid COVID-19 diagnostic kit based on indigenously developed CRISPR technology to detect the viral genome of SARS-CoV-2. The diagnostic kit is the result of fruitful collaboration between CSIR's Institute of Genomics and Integrative Biology and the Tata Group. The test has received regulatory approvals from DCGI for commercial launch, and this development will boost India's capacity to fight the pandemic. Let us see the report to know more.
The onset of COVID-19 crisis called for the development of indigenous, reliable and low-cost diagnostic tools. In view of this, the researchers of CSIR's Institute of Genomics and Integrative Biology started working on a diagnostic test in the early phase of corona crisis. A team of researchers led by Dr. Souvik Maity, Dr. Debjyoti Chakraborty developed a paper strip-based test kit in April itself using the state-of-the-art CRISPR-Cas9 technology. After testing the required samples of patients and meeting the high-quality benchmarks of the Indian Council of Medical Research, the test has now received regulatory approvals from the Drug Controller General of India for commercial launch.
We got DCGI का जो अप्रूवल होता है, हाईएस्ट अथॉरिटी ऑफ द इंडिया, लास्ट वीक हम लोग को अप्रूवल मिला एक्चुअली टाटा गॉट अप्रूवल एंड दिस टेक्नोलॉजी टाटा को ट्रांसफ़र किया गया है एंड एज फार एज वी नो टाटा इज़ वर्किंग टू सेट अप द फैक्ट्री एंड उनका कहना है जो विद इन अ वीक्स नॉट इवन मंथ दे विल बी रेडी टू लॉन्च इट इन द मार्केट. हमारा जो उम्मीद है इट विल बी मच चीपर देन द आर्टिफिशियल किट वॉट एवर इज अवेलेबल इन द मार्केट. अभी जो बाजार में उससे तो कम हो सस्ता होगा ही होगा.
This test kit will be produced commercially by Tata Medical and Diagnostics Limited as Tata CRISPR Test Feluda. The paper strip based kit will take a total of 1 hour to identify the genome sequence of coronavirus, starting with the extraction of sample RNA. CRISPR-Cas9 is a gene editing tool in which CRISPR is a guide RNA and Cas9 is an enzyme-based molecular scissors which cuts the genetic material at the required points. In 2019, IGIB scientists discovered a new variant of Cas9 protein from a different species of bacteria which can cut DNA with high precision. IGIB scientists have used this indigenous discovery to develop the CRISPR-based diagnostic test. It is the world's first diagnostic test to deploy a specially adapted Cas9 protein to successfully detect the virus causing COVID-19.
तो इसमें क्या होता है कि वायरस की जो आरएनए है उसको डीएनए में कन्वर्ट करते हैं, फिर उस डीएनए को बहुत सारे कॉपीज़ में नंबर्स बढ़ाते हैं. उसके बाद क्रिस्पर Cas9 एक तकनीक होता है जिसके माध्यम से एक प्रोटीन लेके हम वो वायरस के सिग्नेचर को ढूंढ निकालते हैं और फिर उसके साथ पेपर स्ट्रिप केमिस्ट्री का इस्तेमाल करके एक स्ट्रिप में हम उसको डिटेक्ट करते हैं.
The Tata CRISPR Feluda test does not require high-end equipment and is quite easy to use. Even an ASHA worker can perform the test with a little training. This will help in conducting low-cost tests on a larger scale. Plus, this technique also has the potential to detect other pathogens in the future. Such collaborations between research institutes and industries are the need of the hour to scale up India's capability to tackle the pandemic.
The Himalayan Chandra telescope located in Hanle, Ladakh is crossing an important milestone on 26th of September 2020 by completing 20 years of its operation. Named after India-born Nobel laureate Subramaniam Chandrasekhar, this optical infrared telescope is one of the highest astronomical observatories in the world and is operated remotely by the Indian Institute of Astrophysics based in Bengaluru. Today, we'll take you on a science tour of this observatory, which has been serving the scientific community to pursue research in the forefront areas of astronomy and astrophysics.
Lying in the lap of Himalayas and situated in the northernmost part of the country, the region of Leh Ladakh is known for its dry weather and inaccessible geographical location. At a distance of about 260 kilometers southeast of Leh lies a quiet and sparsely populated village, Hanle, which is home to one of the highest telescopes in the world, the Himalayan Chandra telescope. Situated at a height of 15,000 feet above the sea level, this optical infrared telescope is a part of the Indian Astronomical Observatory established here by the Indian Institute of Astrophysics based in Bengaluru. The 2-meter diameter Himalayan Chandra telescope detected its first light signals in the year 2000 and will complete 20 years in operation on the night of 26th September 2020. Telescopes and astronomical observatories are used to observe and expand our knowledge about celestial events involving various entities like exoplanets, stars, nebula, galaxies, etc. Such telescopes need high-altitude locations with minimum atmospheric interference. Therefore, Hanle, being high-altitude location with thin atmosphere, lower atmospheric water content and cloudless transparent skies is an apt location for such astronomical observations. The Hanle Observatory is controlled via satellite link from Centre for Research and Education in Science and Technology at Hoskote near Bengaluru. light emanating from the universe falls on the primary mirror of the telescope, converges and falls on the secondary mirror, and again passes through the whole of the primary mirror and creates an image on its back. The same signals are received at Bengaluru and they are converted into images, thus detecting new objects in the universe. The telescope also captures short-lived astronomical phenomena like the supernova and objects which do not shine brightly in the sky. The 2-meter diameter optical infrared telescope continues to scan the night sky to capture invaluable data, which will help us further to expand our knowledge about the mysteries of the universe.
Now it is time for a short break again. Stay with us. We'll be back soon.
अरे बबलू, लॉकडाउन खुलते ही टहलने निकल पड़े। महामारी अभी फैली हुई है।
सरपंच जी टहलने नहीं, काम पे वापस जा रहे हैं।
तुझे डर नहीं लगता वायरस पकड़ लेगा?
पहले थोड़ा बहुत डर लगता था, फिर पता चला कि अगर मैंने पूरी सावधानी बरती तो ये बीमारी होने की संभावना कम है। सबसे महत्वपूर्ण है ये मास्क। काम पर मास्क हमेशा पहनूंगा, समय समय पर हाथ धोता रहूंगा और दूसरों से हर वक्त कम से कम 2 गज की दूरी बनाए रखूंगा। खुद को, दूसरों को और अपने परिवार वालों को भी सुरक्षित रखूंगा।
अरे भाई, मेरी जिम्मेदारी बनती है तुझे चेतावनी देना, सो दे दिया।
जब देश के मेडिकल और स्वच्छता कर्मचारी रोज कोरोना वायरस से लड़ने का काम कर रहे हैं, तो हमारी भी तो जिम्मेदारी बनती है अपना काम करने की।
बबलू, तुझे कुछ हो गया तो?
हजारों लोग इस बीमारी को हराकर ठीक हो चुके हैं और अगर किसी कारण मुझे ये बीमारी हो भी जाए तो सरकार ने अस्पताल में हमारे इलाज के लिए पर्याप्त व्यवस्था कर रखी है। ये घबराने का वक्त नहीं, एक दूसरे का हौसला बढ़ाने का वक्त है।
अरे ऐसे क्या देख रहा है? तू काम पे जाएगा, मैं नहीं जाऊंगा, नाक नहीं कट जाएगी मेरी। चलो।
मास्क।
हाँ, मास्क मास्क।
अरे नाक तो ढक लो।
हाँ।
कोरोना वायरस से हमें लड़ाई जारी रखनी पड़ेगी, पर उससे डर कर नहीं, पूरी सावधानी के साथ डट कर चलिए। रुकी जिंदगी को आगे बढ़ाएं, देश को आत्मनिर्भर बनाएं। जय हिंद।
Welcome back. After the break, you're watching Science Monitor. And now let's have a quick look at some other developments that have made news in the field of science and technology in our special segment, Science Express.
Kerala will soon house one of the first medical device parks in the country. On 24th September, Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan laid the foundation stone of the park, which will cater to India's self-reliance needs, especially in the area of high-risk medical devices such as medical implants and extracorporeal devices. This is a joint initiative of Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute of Medical Sciences and Technology, an autonomous institute under the Department of Science and Technology, and Kerala State Industrial Development Corporation Limited. Named MedSpark, it will be established in the Life Science Park at Thonakal, Thiruvananthapuram, and provide full range of services to the medical devices industry like R&D support, testing and evaluation. It will also have a knowledge center and a technology business incubation center. The project will generate employment for 4,000 to 5,000 people, besides providing direct employment to 1,200 people. Defense Research and Development Organization conducted many successful tests in the past few days. On 22nd September, second successful flight test of Missile Target Vehicle, Abhyas, was conducted in Balasore, Odisha. The flight test was tracked by radars and electro-optic systems, and Abhyas met the user requirement of 5-kilometer flying altitude, vehicle speed of 0.5 Mach, endurance of 30 minutes and 2G turn capability. Abhyas is a high-speed expandable aerial target controlled with a laptop-based ground control system and can be used as a target for evaluation of various missile systems. It has been designed and developed by Bengaluru-based Aeronautical Development Establishment (ADE) of DRDO. On the same day, DRDO successfully test-fired a laser-guided anti-tank guided missile from an MBT Arjun tank at KK Ranges Armored Corps Center and School, Ahmednagar. 3 labs of DRDO, ARDE Pune, HEMRL Pune and IRDE Dehradun were involved in the development of this ATGM. On 23rd September, DRDO successfully test-fired short-range ballistic missile Prithvi from the interim test range Odisha. The orbit of the International Space Station was adjusted recently to avoid its collision with the space junk created by debris of a Japanese rocket that was launched in 2018. According to NASA, an emergency maneuver was performed by Russian and US flight controllers on 22nd September to adjust the orbit of the International Space Station that lasted about 2.5 minutes. As the maneuver began, the 3 crew members were directed to relocate to be near their Soyuz spacecraft as a precautionary measure. According to NASA, the debris passed within 1 mile of the ISS. International Space Station orbits roughly 260 miles above the Earth at a speed of about 17,000 miles per hour. At such a speed, collision with even a small object can cause serious damage. According to NASA, 25 such maneuvers were carried out between 1999 and 2018 to save ISS from potential collisions. We often use the idiom "once in a blue moon" for expressing something very rare. But soon you will get a chance to witness a very rare blue moon that is all set to appear on 31st October 2020. Blue moon actually refers to 2 full moons in 1 month, and this phenomenon repeats itself after every 2.5 years on an average. But the coming blue moon will actually be the rarest, as it will fall on 31st October and will be visible all across the globe, including India. In fact, we are going to witness such a blue moon after a gap of 76 years, as the previous one happened in the year 1944. After 2020, blue moon will fall on 31st October after a gap of 19 years.
And that is all in today's edition of Science Monitor. Do tell us how do you like our program. You can send your feedback and suggestions through email. Our email ID is news@vigyanprasar.gov.in. You can also write in to us at Vigyan Prasar, 5th floor, Prithvi Bhavan, Lodhi Road, New Delhi, 110003. We'll meet you again next week with new information and developments. Till then, stay home, stay safe, and think scientifically all the time. Thanks for watching.